If I walk up to him, fall back and slap him in the face, and turn to you and you ask me, hey Cliff, why'd you hit him? And I say, God made me do it. I'm a liar. I'm a con artist. God gave me a hand, he gave me a will. I can take out my wallet and give him money for lunch, or I can fall back and slap him. God makes me neither.
So if God is the creator of all things, who created God? If something has to have a creator.
Okay, good. Everything that has a beginning has a cause. Bang! What caused that? Oh, it just always existed. No, it didn't just always exist. Bang! There's a start. All right? So everything that has a beginning has a cause. The universe has a beginning. The Big Bang shows us clearly. The universe is not eternal. There's a beginning. Therefore, the universe has a cause. Now, the definition of God that the Bible gives is an eternal being, which means to ask the question, hey, who created God, is already to make a mistake. And that mistake is, God is not eternal, God has a beginning. No, sir. Jesus and the Bible insist God doesn't have a beginning. Because God does not have a beginning, God doesn't have a cause. Because God does not have a beginning, there's no creator of God. God is an eternal being without beginning, without end. Somebody else have an issue they want to raise? Yes, sir.
My friends tell me that I should follow along and that the Quran is more trustworthy than the Bible. Is there any other reason why I should believe that?
A good question. I have a great deal of respect for Muhammad. Muhammad, in one of his 5 pillars of Islam, says, give alms to the poor. I respect that. Jesus said the same thing. Feed the hungry, clothe the naked. So that's part of Islam I agree with. But Muhammad made a fundamental mistake. He respected Jesus as a good prophet, but he rejected the deity of Christ. What's the problem? Repeatedly in the Gospels, Jesus claims to be God in human form. Now I have a decision to make. Muhammad lives from 570 to 632 AD. Obviously, he never met Christ. But those who met Christ, who heard Christ, who saw Christ, insisted Jesus claimed to be God in human form. So, who am I going to trust to give me accurate information about any historical figure? The eyewitnesses. I'm not going to trust a guy who lived 500 years after the fact, who obviously never met Jesus, to be my primary source of information about Jesus. That would not be smart. So therefore, there's a fundamental contradiction between Jesus Christ and Muhammad. And the contradiction is, who is Jesus? Is he just a prophet, or is he God in human form? In the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it's clear. He's God in human form. He's not just a prophet.
If God already knows that I'm going to sin, why do I have to ask for his forgiveness?
Okay, very good question. We do not mean God writes on a piece of paper what I'm going to do tomorrow, locks it in a bank vault, and then I have to do tomorrow what's on the piece of paper. That's fatalism. I don't buy into fatalism. I don't go into a New York City restaurant, and when the waiter or waitress says, what would you like for your dinner? I say, well, whatever happens, happens. No. I don't live my life that way, and I don't think any of us live our lives that way. That's fatalism. And so when we say that God is all-knowing, we do not mean that everything has been ordained by God. If I walk up to him, fall back and slap him in the face, and turn to you and you ask me, hey Cliff, why'd you hit him? And I say, God made me do it. I'm a liar. I'm a con artist. God gave me a hand, he gave me a will. I can take out my wallet and give him money for lunch, or I can fall back and slap him. God makes me neither. So what do we mean when we say God is all-knowing? What we mean is, God is outside of the dimension of time. You and I are not. You and I have a birthday, we got a death day, we are definitely locked into time. God is outside of the dimension of time, which means God sees tomorrow today, which means due to his position outside of the dimension of time, God can see what you and I will freely choose to do tomorrow. He can see that today. Do I understand what I've just said to you? No. Why? Because I live in terms of 5 minutes ago, now, and 5 minutes from now. I live in terms of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I am locked into the dimension of time. God is outside of that dimension of time. He sees past, present, and future at a single glance. Is that a mystery? Yeah, that's a mystery. Why? Because I've never experienced anything close to that. I have a birthday, I'm going to have a death day. I am trapped in time. God is not trapped in time. He is outside of the dimension of time. That's why you can have a free will, and God knows what you're going to do tomorrow. Because he's outside the dimension of time. Now, I know that makes some sense, hopefully, but not a lot, because it's hard. You know what really frustrates me? What really frustrates me intellectually is the person who says, unless I can see it, unless I can scientifically prove it, it's not real. Which means, God, I can't scientifically prove you. God, I can't see you. So therefore, obviously, you're not real. Really? Really? Give me a break. What's it like to go on a scientific date? What's it like to run a family on science? It's impossible. Science is a wonderful study of process. Bravo. Go to it, scientists. But there's a lot more to human knowledge than simply science. There's historical knowledge. There's relational knowledge. As you build a relationship of trust with another human being, yeah, that's part of reality, a big part of reality.
So kind of going back to my old question, you told me that in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that Jesus was God, right? So also in those Gospels, it says that he does not know the hour in which he will return. Are you telling me that God doesn't know that? You're telling me that God doesn't know it all?
Okay, very good question. The answer to that is pretty profound. It's the mystery of the incarnation. What does it mean when God becomes a human being? That's what Christ claimed. And obviously it involves self-limitation. Jesus limited himself to a head, a torso, 2 arms, 2 legs. He was not omnipresent. And he also limited his knowledge. And you're right, in Matthew chapter 24, Jesus says, no one knows the day or hour of my return, not the Son, not the angels, but only the Father. So Jesus limited himself when he became a human being. Obviously, he limited himself physically. Jesus was not omnipresent. Jesus was not in North America, South America, and Israel at the same time. No, he limited himself physically. But he also obviously limited his knowledge. He says, I don't know when I'm going to come back a second time. Only the Father knows that. No contradiction, but it is a mystery about self-limiting of Jesus Christ. Yes, sir.
Isn't it kind of narrow-minded to think that Jesus is the only way? What about all the other world religions that say their way leads to heaven or things like that?
2 plus 2 equals 4. Not 5, not 3, not 20, not 100. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Is that narrow-minded bigotry? Is it narrow-minded bigotry for me to say, he's sitting here? He's not an apparition, he's not a vision, he's not an illusion. He is here. And if you tell me he's not here, I disagree with you. Is that bigotry? Because you see, if I don't think he's really there, then why shouldn't I just keep on swinging? The reason I don't keep on swinging is because the evidence is the man is here. He's not an illusion, he's not a dream, he's not a fantasy. See, truth is exclusive. 2 plus 2 does not equal 5. 2 plus 2 does not equal 3. 2 plus 2 does not equal 10. It equals 4. And guess what, sir? Every bit of truth smacks of exclusivity. If I stand here and say racism is absolutely evil, what I'm saying is, under no situation is racism good. Why? Because all human beings are created in the image of God. Now that, sir, is a truth claim. Flat out. Now, what's your name? Carlos? Philip? What's your name? Carlo. Your name is Carlo. Ted. Okay, good. What am I doing? I'm being incredibly rude to you. Your name is not Your name is not Ted. Your name is not Philip. Your name is Carlos. Now, in order for me to have the privilege to get to know Carlos, I have to accept from you your name, what you're like, what you dislike, what you do like. If I say that you're Philip, that's wrong. Okay? So, Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. I didn't make that up. Jesus said it. I'm just delivering you his mail. Now, why would I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life? Because the evidence, the way he lived his life, the evidence of what he taught, the Sermon on the Mount, the evidence of the way he died, nailed to wooden crossbeam, instead of cursing his enemies, he prays, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And the evidence of the way he rises from the dead, guys, it's a no-brainer. He's the truth.
Saying, how does the Bible hold up from when it was written years and years and years ago? Because they're facing different problems that Jesus spoke about and that the Old Testament spoke about, and now we're in a completely different time, but it's a book that was written so long ago.
Science can answer the question, if I put strychnine in grandma's tea, will she die? Science says yes, Cliff. If you put strychnine in grandma's tea, she will die. Can science answer the question, should I put strychnine in grandma's tea in order to get the inheritance that she has? No. Science cannot answer that question. That is a philosophical, moral, ethical question. So yes, there's been great progress in science. Yes, there are a lot of different issues that we have to face in the 21st century than they did in the first century. But at the heart of it all, why is a human being valuable? What is the purpose of life? How should you live your life ethically, morally? And is there life after death? Those basic fundamental human questions have not changed. And they will always be there. Are you an accident? Or were you put here for a purpose? Are you valuable? Or are you not? Which means you better go out and make yourself valuable by making a lot of money, by being popular, by having a lot of people like you, by taking a lot of selfies. You increase your value. That's so sad, so tragic. The Bible says, no, you're valuable not because you're popular, not because you're pretty, not because you're wealthy, not because you got a great career. You're valuable because God made you, and God doesn't make junk. What about life after death? Science has no answer to that question. Science simply observes natural law. Jesus Christ says, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies. And the evidence is, 3 days after he died, he rose from the dead. Over a period of 40 days, he appeared to over 500 people who saw him risen from the dead. So you can trust him. He points the way to eternal life.